Chapter 3. I had to spend a long time to find out where he was from. It seemed that the little prince who was asking me so many questions didn't hear mine. Only due to some accidentally split phrases, little by little, I discovered the truth. For example, when he saw my plane, I won't draw the plane, it's too hard for me. What kind of object is this? This is not an object, it can fly. This is a plane, this is my plane. I was proud to tell him that I could fly a plane. What? Did you fall from the sky? He cried then. I did, I replied quietly. Oh, that's funny. The little prince broke into gentle laughter. It made me furious because I prefer when my failures are treated seriously. So you also came down from above? What planet are you from? He added then. At that moment I saw the light in the impenetrable darkness of his presence. Are you from another planet? I asked suddenly. He didn't answer. He slightly shook his head, leaving his eyes on the plane. That's true. It wouldn't be possible to fly from far away in this. And he was lost in thought for a while. Then he took my lamb out of his pocket and carefully examined his treasure. You can imagine how intrigued I was by his confidence that other planets exist. So I tried really hard to find out as much as possible about this. My little man, where are you from? Where is this where I live you talk about? Where do you want to take your lamb? The advantage of the box you gave me is that at night he can use it as a house, he replied after a thoughtful silence. That's right. If you behave, I will give you a rope so you could tie him during the day and a peg to tie the rope to. The little prince seemed to be taken aback by this offer. Tie him up? What a weird idea. But if you don't tie him up, he will go somewhere and get lost, I said. My friend broke into impetuous laughter. Where do you think he will go? Oh, anywhere, just over the hills and far away. Then the little prince said very seriously, It doesn't matter. Everything is very small where I live. And then he added, sadly, you just won't be able to go far away. Chapter 4. This way I learned the second important fact, that the planet the little prince came from is a little bigger than a house. But I wasn't very surprised. I knew that apart from big planets, such as Earth, Jupiter, Mars, and Venus that we have named, there are hundreds of others. Some of them are so small they can hardly be seen with a telescope. When an astronomer discovers one of them, he doesn't name it but gives it a number. Let's say he could name it Asteroid 325. I have serious grounds to believe that the planet the little prince came from is known as Asteroid B 612. It was seen by a telescope only once. A Turkish astronomer managed to do it in 1909. The astronomer presented his discovery at the International Astronomic Congress, but he was wearing a Turkish outfit, so nobody believed him. Adults are like this. However, fortunately for the reputation of Asteroid 612, the Turkish dictator passed the law dictating that citizens had to wear European outfits under penalty of death. As a result, the astronomer, dressed with exquisite style and elegance, held another demonstration in 1920. This time, everybody took his presentation seriously. I only described you details about the asteroid and its number with the adults in mind. When you tell them that you found a new friend, they never ask you important questions. How does his voice sound? What games does he love to play the most? Does he collect butterflies? Instead, they try to find out, how old is he? How many brothers does he have? How much does his father earn? On the basis of these numbers, they assume they know everything about him. If you tell adults that you saw a beautiful house made from pink brick with geraniums in the window and pigeons on the roof, they won't be able to imagine the house. They need to be told that you were in a house that cost $20,000. Then they will exclaim, "What a wonderful house." With the same result, you can tell them, the evidence that the little prince existed is the fact that he was charming. He laughed and looked for a lamb. If someone needs a lamb, this means he exists. And what results do you expect? They will just shrug their shoulders and treat you as a child. But if you tell them that the planet he came from is asteroid 612, then you will convince them, and they won't ask you a lot of questions. They are like this. You shouldn't take their behavior personally. Children always need to be patient with adults. However, we who understand life don't care about the numbers. I would like to begin this story as a fairy tale. I would say with pleasure. Once upon a time there was a little prince who lived on a planet that was hardly bigger than him, and he needed a lamb. For those who understand life, my story would seem more honest. You know, I don't want anyone to read my story frivolously. I suffered too much to recollect and put everything down. It's been 6 years since my friend left me together with his lamb. When I try to describe him here, it's only in order to make sure I will remember him. It's sad to forget a friend. Not everyone has a friend. If I forget him, I will be like adults who are only interested in numbers. Once again, I bought colors and pencils for this reason in particular. It's difficult to draw a picture again at my age, if I haven't drawn anything except boa constrictors inside and boa constrictors outside from when I was 6. I will try my best to make my portraits as close to reality as possible, but I'm not sure I will be successful. One picture turns out to be good, and another one is far from realistic. I can also be mistaken how tall the little prince was. He's too tall in one picture and too short in another one. I have also some doubts about the color of his outfits. I tried my best, but it can be good here and bad there. However, I hope the final result is good. I can make mistakes in some details that are more important, but it's not my fault. My friend has never explained anything to me. He possibly thought we were the same. Unfortunately, I don't know how to see a lamb through a box. I may be an adult a little. I had to grow up. Chapter 5. Every day during our conversations, I found out more about the little prince's planet, how he left it, and about his journeys. The information came slowly as it accidentally emerged from his thoughts. That's how on the 3rd day I learned about the danger from the baobab trees. This time, I need to thank the lamb again. Unexpectedly, the little prince asked me dubiously, "Is it true that lambs eat small bushes?" "Oh, that's true." "Good, I am glad." I couldn't understand why it was important for the lamb to eat small bushes, but the little prince added, "It means they eat baobabs as well, doesn't it?" I pointed out that baobabs are not small bushes. They are trees as big as castle, and even if he takes a herd of elephants, they won't be able to eat a single baobab tree. My idea about the herd of elephants made the little prince laugh. "We will have to put them on top of one another," he said. But he also commented wisely, "Before becoming so big, baobabs were small." "Oh, that's absolutely true," I said. "But why do we need lambs to eat small baobabs?" He replied immediately, "What do you mean, why?" As if he was talking about obvious things. And I had to think hard to solve this riddle myself. I found out that the planet the little prince lived on, as any other planet, had both good and bad plants. As a result, there were good seeds from good plants and bad seeds from bad plants. But the seeds are invisible. They sleep deep below the ground until one of them decides to wake up. Then this little seed, shyly at first, but later more confidently, begins to push its small sprout up towards the sun. If it's a radish or rose, it is allowed to grow as it wishes. But if it turns out to be a bad plant, it should be destroyed the moment you identify it. There were awful seeds of baobab trees on the planet that was the little prince's home. The ground of this planet was contaminated with them. You will never get rid of baobabs unless you catch them in time. It covers the whole planet. It penetrates the ground with its roots. And if a planet is too small and the number of baobabs is large, they can break it into pieces. "It's all about discipline," the little prince told me later. "After making yourself tidy in the morning, it's time to clean your planet very carefully. You need to make sure that baobabs are extracted in time and on a regular basis, just at the moment when you can distinguish them from the roses that they are so similar to in the early stages. It's very painstaking work," the little prince added, "but it is very easy." Once he said to me, "You should draw a beautiful picture so children where you live can recognize what my planet really looks like. It will be useful for them if they decide to go on a journey." He added, "Sometimes there is nothing wrong in putting off some of the work for the next day, But when it comes to baobabs, it always leads to a catastrophe. I used to know a planet where a lazy man lived. He neglected 3 small bushes. I did a painting of the planet according to the description of the Little Prince. I don't want to lecture, but the danger from baobabs is not fully realized, and it can be very harmful to someone who gets lost on the asteroid, so I have to explain properly. Children, be aware of baobabs. My friends like me have been avoiding this problem for a long time without realizing it. So for their sake, I tried hard while drawing this picture. The lesson I learned was worth the effort. You may ask me, why are there no other such beautiful pictures as of baobabs in this book? The answer is easy. I tried, but I wasn't so lucky with others. When I was drawing baobabs, I excelled myself due to the inspiration and realization of its importance.